My boyfriend's entitled best friend told him I cheated so that she could date him. My boyfriend has known his best friend Carly for 5 years, ever since Carly moved in next door to him. I know she's obsessed with romance books, so I think she's convinced herself they'll fall in love just because they're next door neighbors. And watching Taylor Swift's You Belong With Me music video has added to her delusions. Anyway, it took a while for me to notice the signs, but thinking back, it was clear from day one that she did not like me. For starters, when my boyfriend introduced me to her, she said, "Oh, so you're the little girlfriend." At first, I brushed it off, but everything got worse from that moment on. One time, she even called me a pet because I'm always following him around. I've told my boyfriend that I don't want her around me anymore if she's just going to keep making comments like that. He told me she was just intoxicated that day and didn't mean it, so I should give her another chance. Plus, all his friends are her friends, so it would be impossible to go somewhere she isn't. But fine. I put my feelings aside just this once and gave her the benefit of the doubt. So, we end up going to a friend's house party. It's pretty PG stuff, so if she says anything wild, alcohol doesn't work as an excuse. We're one of the first people to get there and we're just talking with our other friends. At some point, I lay my head on my boyfriend's lap and as if on cue, Carly shows up. She comes running towards my boyfriend, calling him bestie, and has her arms wide open for a hug. I guess she expected him to get up and hug her back, but he just stayed seated and pulled me closer to him. She noticed that and her face became visibly angry for a second. Before she switched back to happy, she said, "Bestie, you're not even going to hug me now? Is it because your girlfriend's here? Is she the jealous type?" I rolled my eyes at that. My boyfriend said, "No, I just don't want to hug you." I tried so hard not to laugh. I knew she was pissed now, but she masked it really well. She responded with, "Well, why not? You love hugging me. You always hug me to sleep, remember? Come on, just hug me." I think she was trying to make me jealous because of her comment about him hugging her to sleep, which is so not true. My boyfriend just shook his head and she kinda gave up, but she threw the nastiest glare my way. Eventually, my boyfriend got up to get us something to drink and Carly ran over to sit next to me. She told me, "Listen, just because you have him now doesn't mean you'll always have him." I asked her what she meant by that even though it was so clear she wanted him. She said that I was just his plaything and he'll get over me once we have intimacy. Little does she know, he says I'm the best he's ever had. I asked her why she wanted him so badly and she denied it to the ends of the world. She called me stupid, but once my boyfriend came over with our drinks, she switched up. He gave me my drink and she instantly pouted, asking where her drink was. He said it was in the kitchen and then took my hand to take us somewhere she wasn't. I think he's been seeing that I was right, that she doesn't like me and she wants to date him. After the party, he went low contact with her. He barely answered her calls, and she calls him like 50 times a day. Whenever he did answer, he would make any excuse to hang up. Other times he told me to answer just to piss her off, which it did. She kept asking me why I was answering his phone and saying that I'm being controlling because she can't understand why he would stop talking to her all of a sudden. It wasn't until we went to a party, where we knew or at least thought, she wasn't invited to. My boyfriend and I had lots to drink and we ended up separated due to our different friend groups pulling us apart. I was with 2 girls and 1 guy. He was hitting one of my friends, so me and the other girl were trying to hook them up. I guess from afar it looked like we were the ones hitting on him. I don't know actually. I didn't even touch the guy. But as I would later come to find out, Carly had convinced my boyfriend that I cheated on him that night with the guy. My boyfriend confronted me 2 days after ghosting me, which I assumed he spent with Carly, but he later reassured me that wasn't the case. He asked me to tell him the truth, that if anything had happened with this guy, I could be honest with him and he wouldn't be mad. I asked what he was talking about and he told me Carly had snapped pictures of me flirting with the guy and showed them to my boyfriend as proof. I asked to see these pictures and it didn't take long to see that they were photoshopped. Not only were they poorly edited, but my outfit had been switched with the one my friend had on, the one who was actually hitting on the guy. I wouldn't expect a guy to realize that, but I was wearing my favorite top that night, which was nowhere in sight in this picture. I told him to call up my friends to confirm my story if he didn't believe me, because unlike me, they weren't as wasted. He said he didn't need to because he believed me. He just needed to see if Carly had actually lied to him to ruin our relationship. Which yeah, she did, but it backfired completely on her. My boyfriend called her up and said he never wants anything to do with her ever again. She cried on the phone and begged him to reconsider, that I was the cheater and she let it slip that he should be with her instead. I laughed so loud at that. She was trying to hide it, but she had finally reached her breaking point and I was so happy I was there to witness it.